Buzz, welcome back to your go-to spot for all the juiciest K-pop news and drama, where we don't just talk about the headlines, we dive into what everyone's really thinking. Today's video, you already know it's going to get spicy, because we're starting with J-Hope, who just had the whole internet questioning reality after his latest stage on M Countdown. So here's what went down. BTS's J-Hope recently performed his solo version of Killin It Girl for the first time on a music show, and no surprise here, it went absolutely viral. But not just because it was iconic though, let's be honest, Hobie never misses but because his vocals sounded so clean, so stable, so suspiciously flawless, that a bunch of people are now arguing whether the performance was actually live or just really loud live art. And before we even go deeper, let's talk about that term for a second. Live art, for anyone who's not familiar, it's when artists sing live over a pre-recorded backing vocal that's turned up high. So technically, yeah, there's a live element, but there's also a polished layer underneath that hides imperfections, and now, fans are split right down the middle. Some are praising J-Hope's live vocals as next level, while others are like, y'all can't seriously believe this was 100% live, right? One comment that stood out said, it's interesting that people think this is all live when live. Ours being played really loudly. Another one was like, you can't hear him breathing at all, even singers who are literally standing still can't do that. And I gotta admit, that's a fair point. The guy is dancing like crazy, and somehow his voice doesn't shake, no breath noises, no slight pitch shifts. I mean, what do you think? But then, there are fans defending him too, saying that even with live art, you can hear the difference when someone is singing in real time. Some pointed out that they could hear Hobie breathing, and that the tone was slightly different from the track. So their take is, yeah, there's backing support, but he was definitely singing over it. One fan even said, tell him to do an encore stage then if you're so sure it's fake. Oof, shots fired. Now here's where I want to pause and ask you, does it really matter whether it was fully live or not? I mean, obviously we all love when artists show off raw, unfiltered vocals. But in K-pop, it's not uncommon to mix live vocals with backing tracks, especially when the choreography is as intense as what J-Hope pulled off. Like seriously, go watch the performance again. He's not just swaying back and forth, he's going off. That kind of stage requires stamina most of us only dream of, but also, should that be an excuse? Should fans just accept high volume are as the norm now? Especially when idols are praised for live stages that might not be all that live? Or should companies be more transparent about it? Personally, I'm kind of in the middle. I totally get using a backing track as support when the dance is tough, especially if the artist is genuinely trying to sing at the same time. But if the art is doing 90% of the work, and people are hyping up the vocals like they were raw and untouched, that's where things get a little misleading. And let's be honest, this whole situation also says something about how insanely high the bar is for idols now. Fans want perfect vocals and perfect choreography, and in a live broadcast setting, that's almost impossible to pull off without some help. It makes you wonder, are we setting artists up to fail by demanding perfection in both? But hey, maybe this is also a wake-up call to appreciate the real live moments more. You know, those slightly imperfect, breathy, raw vocals that make a performance feel human. Because sometimes the magic of live music is in those little flaws. What do you think? Do you feel like J-Hope's performance was more about delivering an overall polished vibe, or do you wish he had toned down the art and gone more raw? Be honest, I really want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you think fans are being too critical, or do they have a point? And if you're someone who did think it was live at first, does knowing about the art change your opinion? Alright, let's keep this convo going. But now let's talk about Somi's latest comeback announcement, which honestly should have been a reason to celebrate, his somehow turning into one of the most controversial comebacks of the year. So here's the tea. On June 20th, Somi's official account dropped the surprise news. She's coming back on July 7th with a brand new digital single called Extra. You'd think this would have fans screaming with excitement, right? But instead, it lit up the internet with seriously divided opinions. Some people are hyped, sure, but a lot of others are really frustrated. And the main target of that frustration? The Black label. Honestly, this has been brewing for a while. Fans have been side-eyeing the Black label for how they've been managing, or honestly, undermanaging Somi's career. She's got massive potential, a super unique image, charisma, and talent, but her releases? They've been few and far between. And now, after over a year of waiting, all we're getting is a digital single, no EP, no full album, just one song. You can totally understand why fans are upset. One netizen said it best, she deserves so much more than this, and I feel that Somi's name still carries weight in K-pop. and she could easily be one of the industry's strongest soloists if she was just given the chance. But instead of a full comeback package, fans are getting one track and a digital-only one at that. No physical album, no major promo plans announced yet, and no guarantee that we'll get more content after this. But then again, some fans are saying, hey, this is still a win, and maybe they're right. Because Somi herself has hinted that she's got more music lined up, and possibly even a full album in the works. Maybe Extra is just the appetizer before the main course. And let's not ignore the fact that she's also gearing up for a fan meeting tour, starting with the Chaos fan event in Seoul and then heading to Tokyo and Osaka. That's a good sign. It shows activity, it shows movement, something is finally happening. And let's talk about that teaser image. If you haven't seen it, go look it up after this video. Somi's rocking this short haircut, sleek black outfit, and a totally different vibe from her usual bright and bubbly image. She's serving chic, she's serving grown, and honestly, I'm obsessed. It's like she's stepping into a new era and the mature concept really suits her. If the song matches the energy of that teaser, we might be in for something amazing. Now, let's be real for a second. Even if Extra turns out to be a total bop, the bigger question is, what's the plan here? Is this a proper comeback rollout, or is it another one-off drop with minimal follow-up? Because fans are tired of the stop-and-go treatment. They want consistency, they want growth. They want to see Somi finally claim her space in the industry the way she's supposed to. And that brings us back to the Black Label. I don't want to drag the company for the sake of drama, but it's hard to ignore the pattern here. So many soloists and artists under big labels end up getting delayed, sidelined, or forgotten unless they're constantly breaking records. And Somi's situation just feels like another case, where a super talented artist is being underutilized. Like, how do you have Jiyeon Somi in your roster and not give her the world? So here's what I'm wondering, and I want you to sound off in the comments. Seriously, do you think this digital single is just a soft re-entry before a bigger comeback? Or do you think the Black Label still isn't doing enough to support Somi's career the way she deserves? Also, what are your expectations for Extra? Are you hoping for a dance pop anthem, a moody R&B track, maybe something totally experimental? And do you like the new concept direction? Or do you miss the vibrant high-teen energy of Ice Cream and Dum Dum? Let's have that conversation below. You already know this fanbase is full of smart, passionate people, and I can't wait to see where you all stand on this one. And that's not all the news for today, so whether your team let Somi cook or team she deserves better, one thing's for sure, we're all rooting for her. She's too talented, too charismatic, and honestly too iconic to be stuck in limbo any longer. Hopefully this digital single is just the beginning of something bigger, and the Black Label finally starts giving her the consistency and spotlight she's always earned. And with J-Hope's stage still sparking debate about what live really means in K-pop, and Somi's comeback announcement stirring mixed reactions, one thing is clear, K-pop never sleeps and neither do the fans. Alright buzzers, now it's your turn. What do you think about J-Hope's performance? Was it truly live? Or are people getting too caught up in the production details? And with Somi's comeback, are you excited for Extra? Or are you still waiting to see more from the Black Label? Before getting your hopes up, drop your thoughts in the comments like always. I'll be reading through and joining the convo with you. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the discussion. And subscribe to Unyong Buzz for more K-pop deep dives, news recaps, and opinion-packed breakdowns just like this one. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Unyong.